This location is phenomenal. We will now muster the last watch of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Powerful history. Vibrant arts.
The thing with dance is you can become whoever you want to be at that moment.
And rich culture.
We're definitely not a traditional band.
It's all part of the story of northeastern Minnesota. Your legacy investment touches all Minnesotans and celebrates our shared history and culture. Stay tuned and see what's happening in northeastern Minnesota.
Funding is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
Hi, I'm Karen Sunderman with the privilege of sharing a sample of some of the legacy programs created here at WDSE WRPT. Your investment of legacy funds in public television has done great things here in northeastern Minnesota. From educating kids about symphonic music to inspiring arts, legacy programming has captured and preserved some of the region's most valuable treasures, including a new historical documentary about Split Rock Lighthouse. Here's a taste of the hour-long production.
Lake Superior has it all. Serene, uninhabited shoreline. Spectacular cliffs. Crystal clear waters. But don't let the calm surface fool you. The big lake can quickly change from calm to calamitous, especially when the winds blow from the northeast. You can trace the construction of Split Rock Lighthouse on the Minnesota North Shore of Lake Superior to a legendary November storm more than a century ago.
A lot of people ask about how the storm got its name, and it does have a lot of different names. The storm of the century, the Mataffa storm. Quite often I'll refer to it as the storm that built the lights.
November 28th of 1905 saw a huge storm that put 29 of those vessels down or damaged out there and took the lives of 11 men that were working on those boats. And so that's why Congress allocated the $75,000 to build this place.
And while it no longer serves its intended purpose, today it educates visitors and preserves a part of the region's history.
Lighthouses everywhere draw people, and I think they have, from the beginning. Everybody wants to know who the keeper is and meet the family, and, how do you live in this isolation and where do your supplies come from?
So it is a pristine, intact light station. We talk about what life would have been like for the early lighthouse service as well as for the Coast Guard. And we've also got the lens in place.
That sparkling lens is without a doubt one of the top draws at Split Rock. Its craftsmanship and beauty still awe visitors more than 100 years after it was installed at Split Rock.
Welcome, come on in.
A tour is not complete without a climb to the lens deck, where the clockwork mechanism still turns in perfect time.
The lens that we have turning here is the original. It's a third order lens, one of the larger lenses put in a lighthouse on Lake Superior.
It's hard to imagine this towering cliff on the edge of Lake Superior without its buff-colored crown. Countless photographs have been taken of it over the years, but its true purpose remains at the heart of the Minnesota Historical Society's efforts to preserve its legacy. Every year since 1985, Site Manager Lee Radzik has presided over a solemn ceremony in honor of the most well-known tragedy on the Great Lakes.
It is referred to as the muster of the last watch, and it honors the entire crew by name. To this, we have added a 30th and final toll for all the lost sailors on Lake Superior. We will now muster the last watch of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Ernest M. McSorley, Master. John H. McCarthy, first mate. James A. Pratt, second mate.
And as the bells chime for each man lost in the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, Split Rock's light shines one more time for the vessels and their crews on Lake Superior.
Live local arts. That's what the playlist is about. It honors and celebrates the creative energy of northeastern Minnesota. By design, we work to support and educate and inspire our region with stories about artists and arts organizations doing great work right here in the north. Here's a sample of what you can see on any given week of the playlist.
You really feel alive when you're using your body, you're out there performing. It gives you so much energy when you know there's an audience out there. My name is Avi Gold, and I am a company dancer here with the Minnesota Ballet. Originally, when I was 8 years old, my Little League coach told me to go take this free stretch and strength class at a local dance studio. Eventually it stuck, and at 12 we decided to quit Little League altogether and just become professional dancers, and we all did.
For me, it's really invigorating to get new people in here with, new attitudes and new ideas and just fresh energy.
The thing with dance is you can become whoever you want to be at that moment, and you get to, if you're shy, you can be outgoing. If you're timid, you can be glamorous. You can be just transform yourself into another character, and it's just really wonderful. My name is Carrie Gold, and I'm one of the new dancers here. I just think the first class I took, and that was it. It was all over. There was nothing else that I was going to do. So I was 13, so old to be starting, but I just fell in love right away.
My name is Biswell, and I'm just a company dancer here at the Minnesota Ballet. We all kind of have the same status or whatnot. We're all equals. It really started with an individual giving me the opportunity. My first teacher was Laura Luzica. And she just kind of said, "You want to try it out?" And I was like, sure, not knowing what it was going to really be like, and just fell in love with it. Just keep your mind open. You never know what is going to touch you or what is going to be communicated to you through the dance. And that's what I love about it so much.
It's not like a painting that you can admire for 100 years. There's just something that it really touches the performer deep inside, I think, for myself, and hopefully at least a few audience members out there, it touches them as well.
Developing art appreciation is important, and the playlist does that. It helps to develop a sense of appreciation for the art form because it's the opportunity to talk about it.
I hope they walk in expecting maybe photographs hung horizontally on the wall, and then are just kind of shocked in a way that makes them want to walk around and explore. My name is Sean Elmquist, and I'm a sculptor and musician here in Duluth.
We chose Sean because Sean is what we consider an emerging artist in Duluth.
Just a single line in space, it's like a velvet rope. It signifies a barrier. So to some extent, it's a fence, but to another extent it might be, a trail, a line that you follow.
In an installation piece,
you are moving around the sculpture. It's going to change depending on where you are. The piece changes depending on how many people are in the space. So it really is a participatory experience.
There's an element of drawing people in, but then there's also an element of pushing people away. Those kind of tensions are kind of what the whole thing is based on. Sort of in a state of disrepair right now. I started out putting together this frame, which is made out of PVC. So it's relatively light and pretty strong, and then most importantly, flexible. Light, strong, and flexible are probably the three most important aspects of any material that I work with. Part of my whole idea for this sculpture, when I first thought of it, was a model really of a blue whale at the Museum of Natural History in New York. So there are some whale aspects, some Moby Dick aspects to having a big white shape. When somebody comes in here and it's just kind of, there's a sort of shock and awe kind of thing, like how did this happen, or why is this here? For me, it's a great opportunity because there just aren't that many places where somebody would give me this much space to do this, And I mean, at the same time that I'm sort of trying to explode the idea of what an art gallery is, I need an art gallery to hang my art in. But there's also an aspect of installation art that I think is really important, is that it is sort of ephemeral. It's a temporal idea. It's not necessarily something that needs to be here forever. I mean, part of its whole way of existing in the space is that it's just here for a time.
It's the promotion. It's the it's the pebble in the pond with the rings going out, and anything that Channel 8 can do to bring artists before the public builds the whole community and makes it better. And the arts are so good for a community in so many ways.
Being with an arts organization in rural Minnesota, the playlist, it just brings people into the community. It showcases what we have to offer on the Iron Range.
Exposure on the public airwaves lets everyone participate in the arts and discover the amazing talent to be found in communities large and small. Live local music from northeastern Minnesota is part of every playlist broadcast.
Take me to Chile, yes, and take me to Spain.
Legacy programs on WDSE WRPT support local musicians and build musical bridges between cultures. An exciting partnership with the Duluth Superior Symphony Orchestra brings both music and education to families and classrooms across the region.
The Symphony Orchestra commonly has 4 different types of brass. We mentioned trumpets, horns, trombones, and tubas.
The goal is to really just engage them and bring them in.
Can the trumpets stand so they can see you?
We're educating a whole new generation of people about the symphony.
Now let's listen to the percussion as they play an excerpt from Mars.
The collaboration with WDSE is just a dream come true. 10,000 plus families throughout the Twin Ports. If they can't make it to the Young People's Concert, you know, it's during the school day. If the school can't afford the buses, they just can't make it there. The rebroadcast reaches out to those families, those students, those teachers, and they have the opportunity to.
There are 4 different kinds of instruments in the string family, and I'm going to introduce them. We have the violin section. We have the viola section.
With that curriculum component, teachers are able to use it in a way that works best in their classrooms. And it kind of creates that multiple exposure idea without having to pay for bus transportation and coming in several times. They'll come and see the concert, but they can do some pre-concert learning with that curriculum, and they can do some post-concert activities and learning, so that continues throughout.
Listen carefully as the strings perform this lush, warm melody from Jupiter.
Good evening and welcome to a concert by the Duluth Superior Symphony Orchestra.
Twice a year, WDSE comes down to the concert hall with all their equipment and all their HD equipment and all their people and broadcasts our concerts. The Duluth Superior Symphony Orchestra is the largest arts organization north of the Twin Cities. We have about 70 professional musicians who perform about 15 times a year. And the television station's footprint is far bigger than our own, so it's great that they come down and help us get our message of great music out to the community, so we love that. We're able to have a presence in the public's mind in broadcast media. It's something, there's not a lot of classical music on television, and we're grateful that WDSE has come forward and recognizes what we do is important and wants us to be a part of their conversation in their community, and we're happy to do that.
Through legacy-funded programs on public television, you learn about the creative work of artists and arts opportunities across northeastern Minnesota. You educate the next generation through effective partnerships, and you celebrate the story of Minnesota through inspiring historical documentaries. Thank you for investing in the arts, culture, and history of Minnesota, and for entrusting public television to tell the story. So here's just one more example of legacy programming from WDSE WRPT. It's part of a live performance documentary about Duluth's own Trampled by Turtles. The band has a fervent following across the state and across the country.
People see us and they think they know what kind of music we're going to play, but we're going to play almost all original songs.
Little kids enjoy it, and really old people enjoy it, and everybody in between. It's cool.
I end up putting it down to kind of alt bluegrass, I guess, just because of the form, but I really don't like to put a name on it.
We're definitely not a traditional band. You know, the songs are different, and the speed at which you play them has progressed faster.
I don't know, it's almost like you can only just describe basically what you see on stage, and that's as good as I can do.
Funding is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and by viewers like you.